Good evening. Welcome to the Tuesday night edition of the Steve Malzberg Show. J.D. Hayworth once again at Newsmax TV's National News Desk. Easy for me to say this evening. I continue to tag team with my pal Steve. Newsmax New York is just about done. Why, you see my buddy right there? A little clearer picture. I understand tonight, Steve, there may be a bit of a delay, but what do you have in the spotlight this evening?
Well, my mind is always on a bit of a delay, JD. Thanks for being there again. I appreciate it. First of all, before we get to, and we could discuss this with our guests, the fact that Donald Trump is now refusing to support John McCain or Paul Ryan in their primary battles. I watched with great interest, and I haven't heard anybody else talk about this, and maybe it's just me, but I watched an interview with Chris Matthews yesterday and Mr. Khan, who just won't go away. He says he wants to, but he won't. And Chris Matthews said, so when you hear that there's a terror attack, what goes through your mind? What do you think? And part of his answer, I almost fell off my chair. Let's watch.
Is it different to be Islamic when you hear there's an attack that by someone claiming they're doing it in the name of religion?
The first concern and the thought that is that this cannot be my religion. So the second thought comes that what is the solution? The solution is a stricter check on people that are coming in. We should have stricter policies, a stricter homeland security check.
JD, I'm sorry. I thought it was like 2 in the morning. I was watching the replay of it, and I said maybe I heard it wrong. He's calling for what Donald Trump is calling for, and that's what he blasted him for at the convention.
Well, sure. And the other thing he's doing, he's taking a page out of the Hillary playbook. And that's completely reverse what you've been saying and what you've been doing. As different members of the press have gone out to research the career of Mr. Khan, and again, this is quite apart from the heroism of his son, Captain Khan, but you take a look at Mr. Khan, the law firm with which he was affiliated, the fact that he worked so hard to bring Saudis in on those controversial visas, and the fact that in some of his writings, he seems to say that Sharia stands apart and actually has precedence over the Constitution, 180 degrees from what he said during the Democratic Convention.
And by the way, there's a report he wiped his website clean of the law firm that he works for, so that's very interesting. Barack Obama, our friend, was out on the, the trail today. No, he was at the White House with a foreign leader, actually, and it was a press conference, and he said this about Donald Trump.
I think the Republican nominee is unfit to serve as president. I think what's been interesting is the repeated denunciations of his statements by leading Republicans. If you are repeatedly having to say in very strong terms that what he has said is unacceptable, why are you still endorsing him? There has to be a point at which you say, this is not somebody I can support for President of the United States.
They're making it sound, or Obama's trying to make it sound like Trump is uniquely unqualified. But here's one of the things that Obama did to Romney when he ran against Romney, because today he said, at least Romney and McCain I disagreed with, but they were qualified. Here's one of the things Obama did to Romney 4 years ago.
Governor Romney, I'm glad that you recognize that al-Qaeda is a threat, because a few months ago, when you were asked what's the biggest geopolitical threat facing America, you said Russia. Not al-Qaeda, you said Russia. In the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back.
He also, according to Andrew Clark, who writes today, he also said, Andrew Clark, who worked for the Romney campaign, also pointed out that Obama said Romney was not ready for diplomacy, said he wanted to take America back, specifically women and minorities, back to the 50s. So he trashed Romney and McCain the same way he's trashing Trump.
Well, this is from the script book again. Any Republican. See, if it had been Governor Kasich, if it been so, they'd still be, quote, unfit to be president. That's the nature of politics. But what I get a kick out of is how Barack Obama presumes to advise Republicans on how they should act. Now, look, I know he's used to issuing executive orders, but the one area he should not control is the Republican Party and those who hope to replace him with somebody who actually will uphold the Constitution.
All right, one final cut, and we're going to cut one off and play it later, but here's one final cut. Donald Trump speaking today. In my opinion, JD, he blew this. Let's watch.
You know, something very nice just happened to me. A man came up to me, and he handed me his Purple Heart. And he said, "That's my real Purple Heart. I have such confidence in you." It's Lieutenant Colonel Louis Dorfman. I just happened.
All right, well, what you're not hearing him say there, he said, "I always wanted a Purple Heart. I guess I got it the easy way." I mean, JD, I don't get it. Why would you say you always wanted a Purple Heart if you know what the heck a Purple Heart is? Why not take it, leave it at that, and shut up?
Well, that was one of the gaffes, but it doesn't rank with 57 states, or there ought to be a domestic security force as large and as powerful as our military. Two things that Barack Obama said on the trail in 2008.